Hey, what's up everyone? HitboTC here, and in today's video, I'm going to ask the question, is Sea of Thieves lost? Now, this isn't scripted. I'm talking from the heart, but the more I talk, the more what I'm saying will make sense to you, I promise. So let's jump into it. So let's talk about Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is one of the best games I have ever played. It is a pirate fantasy game, and I still remember the 2015 trailer that absolutely captivated my heart for this game. If you've never seen the trailer, I highly recommend you watching it. I'll make sure to put the link in the description below so you can watch it yourself. This video I saw while watching the E3. This is, I think, 9 years ago at this point. This video was just, it captured me. I was hooked. From that point on, I was watching the development of the game, and I was waiting for the release of the game. Since that time, we have gotten some amazing updates to the game. Now, let's just talk about a few, and I want to break down and kind of just talk about it, because that's what this video is. This isn't scripted. I'm just talking from my heart because I've been thinking a lot about Sea of Thieves lately, and I'm trying to figure out what is going on. Why do the seas feel off? That's why I'm asking the question, are the seas lost? And I swear, the more I talk, the more it's going to make sense. So let's jump into year one of Sea of Thieves. Let's go back down the history of the game. Sea of Thieves launches. No one knows what to do. No one knows what's happening. There's this sense of discovery among every single player that jumps into the game. Because there's no guides out there. It's just, what do you find? Sharing it with your friends and kind of jumping in. Year one, we see a lot of cool things. One of the coolest things being we finally get the Hungering Deep campaign. Now, I believe this launches pretty quickly after the initial launch of the game. And this was an awesome event. Okay, absolutely awesome. Because what you had to do is you had to venture around, find some journals from this character that you didn't really understand who it was named Merrick. And Merrick was on this beach at Sharkbait Cove. Once you kind of completed these journals, you went to Merrick and he gave you a tune. That tune, you had to carry that tune with another crew. You had to meet another crew, and you guys had to take that tune without losing the music all the way to a specific spot on the map, and it spawned the infamous Hungering, the Hungering one. That was our first encounter for the Megalodon, and it was amazing. It was absolutely one of the coolest experiences in the game. In fact, it was so awesome for me personally as a gamer that if you go back in my YouTube channel, it's the first video I've ever made, was the encounter of the Hungering one. After that update, what we got was the Cursed Sails, and this introduced the, we also got the Devil's Roar at some point, but I'm going to talk about the Cursed Sails because that introduced another AI into the game. It introduced the skeleton ships, and you had to go around and you had to fight these fleets. It's literally the skeleton fleet. That's what we had to do, but it was released with this update, with this lore, with this feature, with this like story narrative that was absolutely incredible. For all those that remember, you had to go to Golden Sands, you had to follow some footprints that led you on a kind of a journey to figure out what was going on. And eventually you kind of came to this conclusion that the skeletons are at war and you had to fight them. And it was awesome. It was incredible. Every update, people got excited because there was this mystery, there was this lore, it was pirate fantasy. You look back at the early stages, the early cosmetics for the game, and there's some of the best cosmetics that exist in Sea of Thieves. They really are. They're very pirate focused, very pirate fantasy. It was awesome. and everyone got excited. We had one of my favorite updates, the Shrouded spoils. Now, this update wasn't necessarily an update that brought in any new story, but it did kind of heal some of the broken gameplay loops. It brought the forts back into more consistent. I think it changed the spawn rate from 2 hours to like 30 minutes or something like that. It was awesome. Made it so you can encounter Megs at random throughout the seas, first time in the game. There's a lot of like little things that the Shrouded spoils brought in, and for everyone that was here, they will remember it very affectionately. What's interesting during this whole time, during the Sea of Thieves era of year one, there would be these parts within the seas that were slowly changing, and they wouldn't tell you about it. Literally, you had to go find it, and someone within the community, usually on Reddit, would start finding it. This is when I started to watch Captain Falcor. Now, I love Captain Falcor. He's one of the best creators in Sea of Thieves, and he creates amazing content specifically around lore. But if you go to his YouTube channel and you really dive down into it, he hasn't been creating a lot of lore videos recently. And when you talk to him about it, it's because there's not much to talk about. It's not that he doesn't want to create it. He loves that. He just doesn't have anything to say because there's nothing new. That isn't great. This game is built on the story. Every major feature that we have gotten has come from story driven, this narrative, this sense of discovery. There's this video that Falcor made recently that really talks about what I'm sharing. And it makes you kind of emotional if you're a big player that loves Sea of Thieves, which I am. And I know a lot of you guys are. You wouldn't be watching this YouTube video if it wasn't. So why am I saying, like, what is going on with Sea of Thieves? Is Sea of Thieves lost? Because right now what's happening, I can't really explain, but it just feels off to me. I have 10,000 hours in the Sea of Thieves. 10,000 hours. More than that. I love that. I've been playing this game non-stop since the release of the game. I've been through the game's ups and I've been through the game's downs. I've just been able to work through it because at the end of the day, it's a fantastic game. And if you're new to Sea of Thieves, this is all still very true. There's a lot that you get to discover. All the tall tales are incredible. You get to experience those for the first time, your first steals, all of that stuff still rings true. But what I'm talking about right now is the feel and the direction of Sea of Thieves. And maybe the writing's been on the roll for a long time, because I'm going to say this phrase and it's going to make sense once I start showing you some images. So like, let's talk about this. For example, I feel like Sea of Thieves is going the way of Fortnite. Now let me explain a little bit. In the early days of Sea of Thieves, the kind of cosmetics that we got were very pirate focused. They felt like they belonged in the game. Even ridiculous things like the Ruby Splashtail costume. Yes, it's kind of crazy, but it does kind of fit with the idea of sirens, right? There's some kind of, you could tie it back in some way, somehow, maybe, right? There's a stretch, but it wasn't like, that was the start of what I'm describing. Sea of Thieves going a little bit more Fortnite than what is traditionally Sea of Thieves home here. All throughout the first year of Sea of Thieves, we would see the world change around us, and there was a lot of excitement and there's a lot of energy around that idea. In fact, for all those who don't know, the arena tavern that's at the center of the map, that got built up over time. And finally, when they released the first year anniversary, when we got the announcement of the arena, bam, Adventure had the Sea Dog Tavern, went with the arena mode that was released. It was awesome. There was so much excitement, so much buzz about the game. You saw it in the socials, you saw it in the Reddit, you saw it everywhere. You saw it in the creators that create content for the game. We were pumped. And this cycle of story-driven features would continue to happen for many years, up until the most recent seasons. Honestly, this last year, I would say things started to kind of deviate from the course that we all love. Now, someone's going to say out there, Hippo, what about season 13? Season 13, we got the Burning Blade. It's awesome. I'm not saying it's not. It's awesome. When it works and when the ping isn't terrible and the desyncing isn't terrible, the Burning Blade fights were incredible. Let's talk about that for a second. For 6 freaking years, we are waiting for Flameheart to be released into the game. He was this villain that is the guy behind the curtain that we have been fighting against forever in the seas. And finally, season 8, we get Hourglass. We get this huge, and season 8 was an amazing season. Shout out to Rare because they crushed it. This was like pure Sea of Thieves, and they nailed it on the head. You had these huge updates to the hideout. You had this huge update to the Reaper lair. It was incredible. It was awesome. It was amazing. They corresponded that with adventures that were going on. And then that's when the whole Reaper War for Golden Sands was going on, where we lost Golden Sands. Yes, I know we won it, but we really lost it because we got poor Merrick. But it's like, that's when these things were changing. If you go back in time, the energy was amazing for the game. It was exciting. People were looking forward to finding the clues that were being left by the devs. It was awesome. Very fun. Season 9 comes in, great quality of life season. Now, a lot of people won't remember it for that, but season 9 was an incredible quality of life season. Brought in a lot of great things like the harpoons, scaling, world events, all that stuff was awesome. But after season 9, things started to go downhill. Things started to kind of get off course. Not by a lot at the beginning, but where we're finding ourselves now feels really different. Feels really off course for Sea of Thieves. And I don't know how else to describe it other than you're on your ship, you're sailing a certain direction, say you're going west, and someone just gets off the helm. And we're slowly letting the waves drift us away from the course that we were setting as a game. Because season 13, let's talk about that. Burning Blade gets released. The enemy that is Flameheart is finally here. And he gets this tiny itty bitty throne at the hideout. No upgrades to the hideout. Nothing. Just the tiny little itty bitty throne and this big ship. That's it. Since that season, we've seen no changes to the seas. We've seen nothing updated. We've seen nothing hinted toward being updated for the Reapers. For me, I think season 14, as much as I love Sneaky, as much as I love all that stuff, should have been an update to Hourglass. Should have been this continuation of the war that Hourglass alludes to when you look at the Hourglass. Season 14 should have been that. Should have been the Reaper hideout becoming a Reaper like fortress. Maybe they destroyed the Sea Dog Tavern. Like there's so much that could have been done that would have been driven by the story. Because here we have this boss that is Flameheart. It's like, this is the guy. This is the guy that we have been fighting against since the very beginning of the seas. He's the statue that they have made, that Rare made when they were going to all these conferences. Like, it's freaking Flameheart. And he gets the tiniest throne and no changes to the hideout whatsoever. We already know what's coming with season 15. There's a lot of alluding to it. There's going to be definitely a Hunter's Call update, which I'm excited for. I'm looking forward to see how it goes. But let's ask that question. What is Merrick doing here? Because last I heard, Merrick was in hiding. But all of a sudden, Merrick's out here. He's showing up at Sharkbait Cove. Like, where's the lore backing that? The adventure closeout for the story of Tasha. I don't even know what that was. Honestly, I don't even know how to end it. I didn't even know what the adventures were about. But even though the adventures were done, I don't even know how the story concluded. It was confusing. It wasn't done very well. It wasn't great. It's not to the standard that Rare set for themselves. It was incredible what Rare has done in the past, but I would say that definitely fell short. So the question is, what is going on with Sea of Thieves? And am I the only one that's feeling this? Because I love Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves just changed my life. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the game. Yes, I get frustrated. Yes, I get bored from time to time. But at the end of the day, I love Sea of Thieves. It's an incredible game. It's captured my heart. It's captured my attention for years. My focus for years. There's so much potential with the game that we have today. But whatever the direction we're going, I don't know if I want to go that direction. Because what we're getting instead of feature-rich, story-driven updates, we're getting gimmicks, like the Mimic Dart, like the Grapple Gun. I'm sorry, these are gimmicks. That's all they are, gimmicks. Because I don't really think that they belong in the seas. Now, I know I'm going to get some flack for this, but I don't really care. It's like, whatever, this is my opinion, it's my video. I just don't think they necessarily belong in the game. Let's talk about Monkey Island. Monkey Island is an incredible story that Rare did a great job with. That's the truth. It's awesome. But I don't think Monkey Island fits in with the story and the lore of the game of Sea of Thieves. I think they worked it in somehow, but they broke it. I think somehow with introducing Monkey Island, it broke the story. It broke the feeling, the discovery. I don't know what it is, but Monkey Island, how that was like weaved in, felt forced. And though it was incredibly done, because Rare is great at environments, and it was a great kind of experience, especially for those who love Monkey Island. I remember talking to a lot of people when it was first released, and their response was, it was great. Just doesn't feel like Sea of Thieves, though. And I think a lot of us feel that. It's great. They did a great job with it, because Rare's good at that. But I just don't think it fits in the game. Now, I've been ranting a little bit about this. I don't know how long this video is right now because I'm just talking from my heart. I'm talking to you guys, the community, the Sea of Thieves community, from the TDMers to the sweat lords to the newbies to the swabbies to the memers to the trolls and to the cheaters. You guys suck. But everyone else, what is happening with Sea of Thieves? And am I off for saying these things? Because if I'm wrong, then everything's fine. But if I'm speaking to something that's hitting home for you right now, I really, really hope that we grab Rare's attention and share with them that 1, we love the game, but 2, we want the game to get back on track to the pirate fantasy and the discovery that we all desire to have. Take the time that you need, get away from the seasons update if you have to, but we would love to see more focus being into that, discovering that fantasy world that captured the hearts of so many players. Because right now, the season stuff makes me feel like I'm playing a game like Fortnite. And no offense to Fortnite, but Sea of Thieves is not Fortnite. It's a different game. And I don't want to play Fortnite. I want to play Sea of Thieves. Let me know what you think in the comments below.